I think this is the pretext, and I'm going to make a prediction here, to a mass amount of pardons that are about to be coming down from this White House in the closing days of this administration, because they put together a list of people they believe have probably broken laws. They put it out there in the media over the last 24 hours, and they're justifying his brother and anybody that took money with the Biden last name, anybody that was corrupt at the FBI, anybody that was going after Donald Trump. The list, and they're trying to say that it's somehow Donald Trump's enemies list, so therefore we are justified in handing out pardons to everyone. They wouldn't have just given a 10-year absolute pardon to Hunter Biden for a bunch of crimes he committed in case he is actually investigated for the damn crime.
So we got a 2-for-1 in this one. First off, Piers Morgan is going to school Destiny over the Biden pardons, and then Ben Ferguson steps in and goes toe-to-toe with Destiny. It's a great back and forth, and I love anytime somebody can put Destiny in his place, which, you know, I get a lot of comments. I don't know why anybody platforms this dude anymore. It's simply for entertainment and exposure of the left woke pundits, right? They believe the things that they say, and it influences their audience, and it's important to know what these people are telling their audience so that we can rebuttal the nonsense lies when they bring up their bullcrap, right? But before we get into it, I want to ask everybody, I was looking through my analytics the other day and I realized that about 90% of the people that watch my videos aren't subscribed. And I would like to ask you, please consider subscribing to the channel today. It would really help me out. And so let's get into the video.
Destiny, let me start with you. You got anything? Or are you taking a Chuck Schumer defense?
No, I think if a pardon is going to exist as a presidential power, I think this is the perfect time to use it.
Really? Even when you've told the world repeatedly, I'm not going to do that, and that everyone should be beholden to the law?
I think the mistake, if Biden made a mistake, it was to say that he wasn't going to do it.
You think?
Especially after seeing the nomination of people like Kash Patel, I think it is absolutely in good prudence to use it here rather than allow Hunter Biden to be the subject of infinite investigations for the next 4 years of Trump's presidency.
You mean how the liberals put Trump through all the criminal investigations?
Well, no, because Trump has criminal immunity from the Supreme Court and all of his federal court cases are now dismissed. And the case in New York never had a sentencing and probably won't get one. So, no, they wouldn't be the same thing.
You seem very phlegmatic about all this, Destiny, when inside you must be hurting. Because what Joe Biden has done with one flick of his pen is he has taken away all the high moral ground that the Democrats could have had against Trump for the next 4 years. Because Trump can now pardon who the hell he likes. He can pardon every January the 6th protester. And he can do it in the sure knowledge that the moment people like you go, this is an outrage, how can you do this? He goes, you know what? At least they went to prison. Hunter Biden didn't do a day.
This is the two of the easiest questions in the world. Pierce, one, if he doesn't pardon Hunter, do you think that influences Trump's decisions at all and who he pardons next?
That wasn't what I said. I said
yes.
it removes your ability.
Absolutely
no,
not.
Destiny.
Number two.
It removes.
Number two.
Hang on. Let me answer number one first. I'll answer number one.
Gotten for the
Come to number 2 second.
Last 4 years.
Let me answer number one first. In answer to number one.
Yeah.
Huh? In answer to number one, my point to you was, if he does, and I'm sure he will, you on the left have absolutely no way to now play the high moral ground. Because your guy, the president, did it even worse.
So what, Destiny conveniently forgets that it's the left that has taken the moral high ground for the last 8 years as it pertains to Donald Trump? Get out of here, dude. I mean, can you at least remain consistent?
What is that? What is the high moral ground? We're down a Supreme Court pick. We lost the 2000 presidency to another Supreme Court. The president now has infinite criminal immunity. What is the moral high ground gotten the Democrats up to this point? There's no point in engaging in norms when only one side upholds the norms. And to sit here, you want to talk about a farce, to pretend that Donald Trump's future pardon decisions are going to be based on who Biden decides to pardon is hilariously stupid. And if you want to talk about pardons, something that you never will hear, why not talk about some of Trump's pardons? How much time do we give to the pardon of Bannon or Stone, who was pardoned for crimes that were literally related to covering up other crimes from Donald Trump?
Destiny?
How many people care about that? Nobody. Where's the accountability for that? Nowhere.
You know the difference?
As a result of those investigations, they're all canceled. So
you know the difference?
I don't want to hear anything about Hunter Biden's pardon. It's a joke.
How many days in prison did Stone and Bannon and those guys do?
I'm pretty sure. Didn't Stone get clemency before he ever stepped foot in prison?
Yeah. He was sentenced to 40 months. in prison, and then
And
Trump
then the
pardoned
day
him.
before,
And
he got clemency. Also, forget
Paul
Stone. Forget
Manafort
Stone.
was
It's
on
not
his
about
way
how
to
much time
sue.
did Stone spend in prison. It's about Donald Trump evading responsibility and culpability because Stone didn't have to testify about him. He said it publicly. He said, "Oh, Donald Trump, why would I squeal on the president?" And then he didn't say anything to Congress. He told another witness not to. And then when he got convicted of all those crimes, Trump said, "Oh, I'll pardon him." So don't talk about Hunter Biden's part. It's an absolute joke.
Well, I'm not sure if Roger Stone spent a day in prison or not, but I can tell you for sure that he did have his house raided in the early morning hours when he and his wife were still sleeping. His wife is deaf. She had no clue what's going on. And CNN somehow conveniently was just there filming at the same exact time. Meanwhile, Hunter Biden hasn't had one raid against his house or anything like that, and we know what he's been up to. He was even so bold to walk into Congress one day unscheduled. They were like, all right, well, we'll stop everything that we're doing to question you because we finally have you here. And then he just got up and walked out when the questions got too difficult. So, I mean, the dude isn't living in fear of consequences ever. And so the fact that Biden's DOJ chose to go after Hunter Biden as it related to the gun charges and the tax thing, but then he left out the laptop and a bunch of the other degenerate things, just goes to show that Joe Biden was only virtue signaling that he was going to let the criminal justice system play out and that he wasn't going to intervene. Meanwhile, he lied and said he would never pardon Hunter, and we all knew better. We all knew that he was actually looking to pardon Hunter, especially had he lost the election, which as soon as he was replaced by Kamala, it was pretty much a sure thing, and I would have bet my house on it. So,
of course, the reason that Joe Biden, we're bringing Ben Ferguson here, the reason that Joe Biden seems to have started this wide-ranging, all-encompassing free pass for Hunter from the year that he began at Burisma, where he had no experience, to be earning $1 million a year on the board of an energy company in Ukraine when Joe Biden was the vice president, literally put in charge of American-Ukraine relationships, is that it may well cover other crimes that may have been committed in relation to that, which might have led to the big guy, as people have reported, who might end up being Joe Biden. So in a way, you know, he's providing a blanket immunity, which I know Destiny's very upset about immunity, to the Biden family here.
Yeah, look, I think Hunter Biden's pardon was much more than just Hunter Biden. Forget the corruption of Hunter Biden for a second. I think this was the pretext, and I'm going to make a prediction here, to a mass amount of pardons that are about to be coming down from this White House in the closing days of this administration, because they put together a list of people they believe have probably broken laws. They put it out there in the media over the last 24 hours, and they're justifying his brother and anybody that took money with the Biden last name, anybody that was corrupt at the FBI, anybody that was going after Donald Trump, the list, and they're trying to say that it's somehow Donald Trump's enemies list. So therefore, we are justified in handing out pardons to everyone that was involved in the Biden crime family or abusing their power to go after Donald Trump. And so I don't really care that much about Hunter Biden's pardon. Of course, this was always going to happen. This is a man that abused his and exploited his own son's addiction to make the Biden family more money. They didn't give a crap about Hunter Biden. They knew they were funneling money to a drug addict, and they knew that could cost him his life. They didn't care because they wanted the money to keep coming into the Biden crime family. I actually feel sorry for Hunter Biden. I feel sorry for a guy that has a father and family members that say, we've got an alibi. He's a drug addict. We'll say that's the excuse for the crimes that we're committing and the money laundering that we're doing and all the bank accounts and all the money coming in from Romania and Ukraine and coming in from China and from Russian oligarchs. And they said, this is how we get away with it. We'll sell out America, the highest bidder, to the most corrupt people in the world, and we'll get away with it by saying, oh, he was a drug addict. He didn't know what he was doing. That is abuse of a child. It's really sad.
Okay, Francesca.
Personally, I don't feel sorry for Hunter Biden one bit. The people that I feel sorry for are the people that have been persecuted by Joe Biden and his criminal justice system over his career. The things that he supposedly stands against, yet he allows his son to get away with, it's just hypocrisy beyond belief, and I don't feel sorry for Hunter Biden one bit. But we're going to actually skip forward a little bit because we don't care what Francesca has to say.
Okay, Destiny, here's the problem. Not a problem.
I'm just curious. I don't know all the time. Do the people who cover politics, are these like actual news people? Like, What is the background here on this
What's
show?
what's your point?
When
No.
you have people talking about like the Democrats have never said.
Just go look at his laptop. He gave you all the info. Hunter's laptop tells you the story. You don't have to be a journalist
it
to
did
read
give the story that
Where are
he
the
is
charges? Hey, where are the
massively
charges?
endowed.
Ben,
I mean,
Ben,
it's
where are the
really
charges?
big.
They've been
Shut up,
investigating
Francesca.
4 years. Where are the charges? I thought we were going to get impeachment charges from Jim Jordan. Where are the charges for Hunter Biden?
It's a great question. I can answer that
The
because I
scope
actually read
into
it.
which they
So
looked
what
into
they
Hunter
did
Biden was
the
very
DOJ
narrow.
made sure that the statute of limitations on the worst crimes that dealt with the tax issues were outside the statute of limitations. So if you go talk to a lawyer, they'll explain what that means to you. But the DOJ
No, I don't need to talk to the lawyer. I've read the documents. Thank you.
investigation
I'm
into
not
Hunter. No, you
illiterate.
asked the
Thank you.
question. You
Can
asked
tell
the
me-
question.
wait, so
You said, where are the journalists?
You just made
I'm
things that
answering
sounded
the
like
question.
FARA violations.
Again,
You're telling me the
you
FARA
asked the
violations
question.
of him illegally
Okay,
accepting foreign
I'm
money,
gonna say it
of
again.
him taking
First of
bribes
all,
and having money go.
he
that the
never
statute of limitations on that is what,
registered.
2
Don't
years?
talk over each other, please.
I'm going to finish it again. He never registered as a foreign agent, and the statute of limitations that ran out on that for what was going on. He never dealt with the tax issues. It didn't have to because we know deliberately that they purposely slow played to make sure that the worst crimes were going, and the DOJ did this. The timeline is clear. They would expire, so they couldn't charge him with those crimes. The reality is the reason why the Biden administration is now having to go back and say who else needs a damn pardon is because there was people abusing their power to make sure that the only 2 crimes that they charged Hunter Biden with could not be connected to the big guy. The gun charge didn't connect the big guy to any actual crime. And that's a fact. And the tax charges where they did charge him dealt outside of any of the money coming in from the money laundering. So the Department of Justice ran interference and said, we'll make sure we investigate this. Oh, crap. The statute of limitations ran out. Even if we wanted to charge him, we couldn't charge him with the crimes. And that's why the White House is saying, holy crap, who the hell needs another pardon here? It's that simple.
Okay.
And go
so then
read the laptop.
Easy question for you then. Easy question for you then, right? So the reason why Mueller was appointed was because an actual obstruction of justice was Donald Trump firing Comey to try to stop the investigation into his illegal activity.
Right,
so I'm
curious,
curious, can you tell me what was the equivalent action? What was the equivalent action on the White House and their influence on the DOJ? Give me the equivalent action. Where is the intrusion of Biden into the DOJ?
All right, I'll answer the question simply. If you understand presidential powers, you would understand that you serve at the pleasure of the president, and the president had the right to fire James Comey whenever he wanted to, and he should have done it day one, but he went against his advisors when he did that. James Comey, by the way, laughed on TV about sending in FBI agents because the Trump administration was too trusting, too new, and too green to Washington to go after General Flynn to try to get dirt on Donald Trump.
So you have
He
nothing.
laughed
You're
about
lying.
it on stage.
You have nothing. Flynn
He
lied to the
laughed about
FBI.
it on stage.
There
That's
is
the
no
guy that you want
equivalent.
to defend
Donald
right now? Are
Trump's
you kidding
meddling
me?
in the DOJ. There is no equivalent to that on the Biden White House, which is why what you just said was a bunch of nonsense.
Then why
You
are
serve
they
in the
talking about
Well,
giving
it
pardons
was
out to
nonsense,
so
although the
many
Supreme
people?
Court has now
Hold
made
on,
that
then
criminal
answer me
activity
this question.
illegal.
Hang on. Hang on, Destiny. You say that the Biden administration has done nothing to meddle with the DOJ. He has literally pardoned his son, who's been convicted
Bingo.
of criminal offenses. That is.
Why did you
And
just say bingo? What do you think a pardon is? How is a pardon meddling in the DOJ?
You don't think it's meddling with justice?
Because the DOJ and the judge even said yesterday that this was the most despicable abuse of power. Go listen to what the judge said. He was not a conservative judge who wrote a scathing rebuke of the Biden administration's abuse of power after there had been a conviction for his son. Go read what the judge wrote, and you might
do you think
understand.
I'm sorry.
Wow,
Do you
this
think
is a
that
bad
when
precedent.
does a pardon happen if not after a conviction? What do you think a pardon is for? Is every single pardon?
That wasn't my point. My point,
Piers,
Destiny.
Please, let me say this. If it's this is the
Let
part
Piers
where
talk.
you
You have no
need
idea-
to listen
to
to
be
what you're
honest, you have no
saying.
idea what
No,
you're
listen
talking
to
about.
what you're saying.
No
You
idea
just
what you're talking
said
about. What's
that
Piers
you
gonna say?
only give a pardon when someone's been convicted. If that was true, they wouldn't have just given a 10-year absolute pardon to Hunter Biden for a bunch of crimes he committed in case he is actually investigated for the damn crime.
And with that in mind, I believe Hunter Biden should still be investigated and drug into the courts for as long as it takes for the American people to find out what actually went down and who is the bad guy. And the glorious part of this, Hunter Biden can't see a jail cell now because of this. There's no risk of self-incriminating, so he's lost the ability to plead the fifth and not talk on any particular subject in a court. So Joe Biden actually, by doing this, has opened the door for information for the American people to actually figure out what happened and what has been going on as far as Hunter Biden over that past, 11 years is what it is. And so I'm looking forward to it. I'm okay with it, and I don't care how much it costs. At this point, it's time to weed out the corruption, and the American people deserve to know what our leaders and their families have been doing at our expense. So with that, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video. If you're an America First individual, you are in the right place. Join the Discord. The link is down in the description. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.